Dashed by Amanda Quain is an adorable Sense and Sensibility meets Love Boat. I'm not kidding. This is a young adult fiction retelling of Sense and Sensibility, but it's also a sequel. So everything that happens after the book Sense and Sensibility. It is an update and it's told from the point of view of Margaret. The basic plot line is that Eleanor and Edward have gotten jobs on a cruise ship. Edward is the ship's preacher, and Eleanor is the ship's librarian, and Margaret goes along with them for the summer because she had a bigger role in what happened between Willoughby and Marianne, and she needs a break from Marianne. And Margaret's really looking forward to the summer to spend with these two, Eleanor and Edward, because she wants to be more like them. She watched Marianne almost self-destruct, and she doesn't want to end up like Marianne. There are a bunch of fun Easter eggs in this book. One of my favorites is that the Queen Mab is the name of the ship that they get on. And if you've read Sense and Sensibility, you know that the Queen Mab is the name of the horse that Willoughby tries to give Marianne. Of course, it's time to get on the ship, and Marianne shows up to go along with, much to Margaret's dismay. Now, that being said, one thing I really do like is that Willoughby, although he's referred to and is part of this past happenings, he's never seen in the book, which I like because I kind of hate his character. But we see very little of Colonel Brandon, or in this case, Dr. Brandon, which is really a pity because Colonel Brandon in my head will always be Alan Rickman, and that's always who I was going to picture. And the idea of Alan Rickman on Love Boat is an opportunity that was missed way back in the day. The book is very well written. I think it was very cute. I did read it on a cruise, which made it a little bit more fun. Another downfall is we don't see a lot of the secondary characters. You know, there's no Sir John, Mrs. Jennings, who would have made a great appearance at a dinner, but wasn't. I think was a missed opportunity. Lady Milton and the Miss Steeles are not in this book. It very much keeps to Eleanor, Edward, Marianne, Margaret, Brandon, and the mom. And that's okay. As it is a modern retelling, you do have to drop certain things. I think that modern retellings and sequels give a lot more play to the author than a straight up retelling of a book, whether you modernize it or not. And I thought this one did a really good job. This book does a very good job of exploring the idea of, if you're a little sister, do you get to grow up and be your own person? Or is your only option to be a copy of one of your older siblings? And I thought that this book was very well done in exploring that topic. And it's a topic that Margaret, from the original Sense and Sensibility, because she is so much younger than Marianne and Eleanor, would have also had to have answered for herself. In the end, I think Margaret does a pretty good job of figuring out herself. But in figuring out herself, she is going to question her older sisters and force them to also come to their own conclusions about themselves, which, in Sense and Sensibility, is a huge part of the books. They took such divergent paths to find their happiness, both Eleanor and Marianne, that it can only leave Margaret with questions. So I think this book did a really good job exploring that reality. On Goodreads, this is about a 3.5 out of 5. I'd say it's a solid 4. It is written for junior high school aged, but I still think it was a valid book. And if you want a light, easy read on a cruise, I'd actually highly recommend this book. I thought it was very well done. So this is my Jane Austen knockoff. Read it, don't read it, but as always, please read something.